Hey everyone, is the 4% rule officially dead for early retirement? Today I'm reviewing this article titled The 4% Rule is Dead, Why Early Retirement Demands New Thinking from MSN Under 30 CEO Chris Miles. It's got the FIRE community buzzing with some strong claims, even 8 months after it was published. And I'm breaking it down with a healthy dose of skepticism so you can decide if your plan needs a total overhaul or just a smart tweak. Stick around if you're chasing financial independence before 50, before 40, or before 30, or maybe you're already financially independent. You'll find this interesting. Welcome to Real Fi Talk. I'm Aaron. On this channel, we talk about the ups and downs of financial independence, how to achieve it, and how to sustain it. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe below and hit the little bell to get the most up-to-date videos. Also, leave a comment below. I'll make sure to read it and respond. Thanks. Let's get back to it. So first of all, before we get too deep into this article, I thought we might get into the definition of the 4% rule. And really, it's a guideline from the 1990s based on Bill Bengen's research and the Trinity study that says you can withdraw 4% of your initial retirement portfolio in year one, then adjust that dollar amount each year for inflation, and have a very high chance that the money lasts 30 years in a balanced stock bond portfolio. Now, it's not a 100% chance, but I think it's like 90% plus chance. And how it's applied in practice. So let's say you have $1 million saved and you withdraw 4% or $40,000 in the first year. The next year, you would take $40,000 plus inflation. So let's say inflation is 3%. That means you would be withdrawing $41,200, and so on. No matter what the markets do that year or in future years, you kind of keep that same formula. It's not a guarantee. It's not designed for 40 to 60 year horizons that many of us face when we stop working earlier. It's not meant to be followed so rigidly if your spending can flex or if you have other income possibilities. So this article claims the 4% rule is dead, especially for those in early retirement, because of longer lifespans and higher healthcare costs, sequence of returns risks, outdated historical data, and today's elevated market valuations. And it pushes for much safer rates like 3% or even down to 2 to 3% for someone retiring in their 40s or 50s. So this hits close to home for those of us who are already financially independent, but unsure about working again. Our money might need to last longer than the original 30-year studies assumed, so a slightly lower starting withdrawal rate or more flexible approach could make sense. But is the article right that we should basically forget the 4% rule entirely? I think this piece calls for new thinking. Mainly shifting away from withdrawals towards creating reliable income streams via alternative investments like real estate or maybe asset-backed lending that supposedly yields 10 to 12% contractually. But it stays pretty light on the risk or exact how-to steps of how to accomplish it, which leaves me skeptical that it's truly revolutionary rather than just promotional. So from my skeptical angle, headlines love declaring that the 4% rule is dead for clicks. Yet Bengen himself has updated his research and says higher rates can still be safe in many historical scenarios. I think his latest book states that you could take up to 4.7% of your portfolio and still be in good shape for the long term if you diversified the assets even more, getting into small cap value and other forms of diversification, especially with your equities. So why the panic, especially when so many people end up with money left over? If I'm already financially independent, but might work again if I want to, how conservative should I really be with my withdrawals? Have I stress tested my own numbers for longer horizon, or am I still leaning on the classic 4% as a starting point? The answer is I am going to be very conservative. I haven't worked in about 8 months now, and I believe I'm under 3.4% is my cap, and I'm probably closer to 3% for my withdrawal rate. So this article isn't what is influencing me. It more has to do with CAPE and just the values of the stock market right now, and just the horizon. I'm in my late 40s, so I've got a potentially very long horizon that I possibly might not be working. So my verdict: don't scrap the 4% rule or 4% rule of thumb entirely. Define it, apply it wisely as a starting guide. Remember what it's not, and stay flexible with stress testing and buffers. Being financially independent is still very achievable with smart tweaks and personalized numbers rather than one rigid percentage or jumping straight to high yield alternatives. And honestly, just don't quit on your plan. The first year, especially, let's say you stop working, that very first year, even if you are using the 4% rule, you're probably going to be more conservative than it. You're going to be watching the markets, and you're going to be probably closer to the 3% rate than I'm closer to. I would say just don't panic. And don't look at the markets as they're highly variable, and you're on a 40-year, 50-year long-term retirement journey potentially, and one day's change in the market isn't going to change anything. But I'm curious to get your take. What are you thinking about in terms of your withdrawal rate? Are you using the 4% rule? Are you using a higher number? Are you using a smaller number? Are you offsetting withdrawals if you're already financially independent with some sort of alternate income? Maybe you've got real estate. Maybe you've got some sort of side hustle. Is your YouTube channel so popular that generates income for you? Let me know. So thanks again for watching this short video. We continue to review some articles here on Real Fi Talk to see what's going on in the media and what people are talking about. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe below. If you don't like this type of content, also leave me a comment. I'm curious what you do want to hear. Thanks, and remember to subscribe. Have a great day.